My 6-year-old son has very visible blue veins in his upper left arm from elbow to shoulder. He is fair-skinned and overweight. They don't look like they are protruding. No pain, redness, or warmth in the area. Is this normal, or should I be concerned about blood clot or vein damage? He had a BP reading in that arm while at the doctor's, but cuff was too tight. Could the tight cuff have damaged the veins?
Hi there, are you still around for a chat? Did you just notice the veins recently, or have they been there since birth? While you join the chat, I will start to type a response for you, but if we can chat, it will be more useful for you as you can provide me with a bit more information. So in kids and adults alike, having visible veins is not a problem. People who are fair-skinned as your son is, and those who may have their veins a bit closer to the surface without much other tissue on top of them, can have veins that are visible. As long as what you mentioned is true, they are not engorged or protruding, as in the case of varicose veins, which you as a parent may have experienced by now, although more common in women especially during pregnancy, or painful in any way. I wouldn't worry about them. In addition, the lack of warmth or redness is reassuring, as this could happen with a phlebitis or infection in the veins, which would be very worrisome at his age. The blood pressure cuff must be very tight in order to get a reading, and in kids, as we usually nowadays use the machines with kind of different sized cuffs, you get the machine response, which is to tighten the pressure up to the maximum and then gradually let go, so as to catch all those who have a high reading, while those whose BP is normal or low just have to sit and wait with the tight cuff until their pressure is obtained for longer as it deflates. Versus a manual BP, where you can kind of tailor the amount of pressure you put in the cuff to the kid, as you know where they should be, and you just inflate it to that pressure and then listen with the stethoscope. I doubt the BP reading did any damage. What you can see, which is common, are signs of petechiae or tiny burst capillaries around where the cuff was hugging, similar to what you may see if he was roughhousing around from friction. As to the veins, I would reassure you only as what I have seen in my kids as well as many kids I have followed, is that they may be noticeable during stretches of time and then be less noticeable. I put this down to growth and gradual change of the tissues on top of and underneath the veins, changing their position relative to the surface of the skin. Very rarely, as in adults, visible superficial veins, especially in the abdomen, could be a sign of liver stasis or disease, but these tend to be abdominal first and would be accompanied by a large liver and a sick kid. I hope that this provides the information you are looking for. If you need any further clarifications or would like to chat and ask more detailed questions based on the information I have provided, simply type in a response. I will be on the lookout on /off today for a response from you. I strive for the excellent service rating on JustAnswer, so please let me know if there is anything else you need or would like to know. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy your day. Our chat has ended, but you can still continue to ask me questions here until you are satisfied with your answer. Come back to this page to view our conversation and any other new information. What happens now? Or, you can reply to me using the box below.
Thank you so much for the reply. It was very thorough and helpful. My husband says the veins look no different than they did before, and that I am just being hypervigilant because I knew the cuff was too tight. He had an exaggerated reading from it being so tight. There was no bruising or petechiae after the reading, which was on Sunday. No swelling or pain during or after the reading, and no complaints of hand/arm weakness or tingling. Of course, I tried to research visible veins on Google and found info that prominent superficial veins could be a sign of a blood clot. Is it even possible for a blood pressure reading to have given him a blood clot or damaged the valves in his veins? It was just one tight reading with an automated machine for the normal time period, not multiple readings. He has no predisposing factors for blood clots other than I guess obesity. He is 105 pounds but is also a tall child. Thanks again for your input.
Hi, I really don't think that cuff being too tight is able to cause enough damage that would actually make a difference clinically. I don't know if you have some medical experience? Or have just really excellently worded questions and good research, but I get maybe the feeling of the former. When the cuff is inflated, it essentially squeezes the veins, along with the arteries from which you are getting the BP reading, and you can imagine that the blood flow is backed up a bit and the veins behind the blockage from the cuff then become engorged. But having seen the enormous capacity at stretching the veins have, during surgery rotations etc., I can't see how this would hurt him. The valves themselves are there to kind of like plumbing hold the blood in place, moving the right way and prevent backflow. Theoretically, if the pressure in the veins was high enough to push the blood backwards, you would go against the valves and perhaps damage them, but I don't feel that this could be managed with a BP reading even when the cuff was super tight. In addition, the valves, however flimsy they appear to the naked eye, are actually very well designed to do their job and have to put up with changes in blood volume/flow frequently during normal activities like exercise. In terms of a clot, I have no concerns that this could happen with a tight BP reading. Clots are formed in kids with clotting problems really, and not in normal kids. Unlike adults, have more reasons to be at risk for clot, and the minute of status or less caused by squishing the veins is highly unlikely to allow a clot to form even in someone who is hypercoagulable or at increased risk for a clot. Compare this minute to, for example, a patient post a huge surgery who is at risk for a venous clot due to being immobile for extended periods of time. Please respond with any other doubts, and I hope that this cleared up these remaining concerns for you. Thanks.
I don't know if you have some medical experience? Or have just really excellently worded questions and good research, but I get maybe the feeling of the former. No medical experience, just an internet junkie, which gets me into trouble because what I find usually just scares me to death because I don't have the medical experience to put it in perspective. You have put it in perspective for me, and I greatly appreciate all of your answers. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. You are right about the internet as well. Sometimes a huge help, and other times it can rob you of sleep for a while. Always try to not get too excited or worried about what you read until your doctor can put it into perspective for you. Good rule of thumb to minimize sleepless nights. Our kids are the best thing that has happened to most of us, and if you are like me as a parent, you worry about anything/everything happening to them, even with medical experience. All the best to you and to your son.
If you have a health question and want to chat with a doctor now, visit justanswer.com/ythealth.